Ngongo taha ki runga, puke rōrua whata ki muri, te utihina, te awa e rere nei ki te rotorua nui o Kahumata Momoe, ko te arawa te waka, ko Ngāti Whakau i te iwi, ko Ngāti te roro te rangi, ao ko Ngāti Turipuku ngā hapu, ko te Kuirau te Marae, ko Rukingi Hau. So in 1990, I learned at a Waikato class, Waikato University class, about all musical instruments. When I came back to Rotorua, to go back to my work in schools, what I did was I included the learning of Kōauau in my classes. I also used big shells. So I used big shells. The children I was at an intermediate, and the children seemed to listen to the booming of the shell better than the ringing of the bell. So for me, it became part of trying to include Tāonga Pūoro, which are musical instruments, Māori musical instruments, into our lives today. So from 1991 until 2005, I was involved in a whole lot of activities from Marae, hapu and iwi, and I was using Kōauau and big shells in as many activities that I could, mainly because most people did not know what a Kōauau is. So it took a while for everybody to catch it, and I think many of them, because most didn't have the same learning that I had, which was I went to Waikato University and learnt it. But when I came back home, most people did not know what a Kōauau is and did not know whether it even should fit in our Māori lives or in our modern day lives. So for me, because I live here in Ohinemutu with 3 marae, I had many opportunities of doing that, and that's what I used. 2005, I had suffered a stroke, and a stroke is like a brain attack, and the main thing that came out of that was the loss of memory. So I didn't know a lot of things. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know I was a Māori. I didn't know my wife, my children, my grandchildren, my mother, who's my neighbour. I didn't know a whole lot of things. So from 2005, then I had to try and relearn myself. As a teacher, I decided I need to find some kind of tools that might help me. When you have a stroke, which is a brain attack, then there are many medicines and many supports that you can have. But I didn't like any of them. And so what I decided in 2005 I had a stroke. In 2007, that's when I began to try and learn seriously who I am. So one of the first things I did was I started to move outside my house. So when your world has been turned upside down, most people I've met hide in their home. When you don't know who your name, I couldn't even talk too, that was the other thing. So because I couldn't talk, then why would I go outside? So it took a while for me to step out of the house, and when I saw the marae, then I started looking all the carved figures and the painted figures and all the little hidden gems on each marae. Then I realized, I think that's where I can find my supports to help me to try and remember who I am. Then, while I was trying to learn all of this, then my daughters reminded me that I used to teach waiata. And I said, what's a waiata? And then they eventually explained all the differences of the types of waiata that we have, types of song, haka, types of haka. And it was quite confusing at the beginning. But the more I started to learn, the better I got. And I think with my brain, what was happening was the stroke. Basically, I think it was like a cobweb blanket came over my brain. And all I had to do was do a little bit of remembering, and then gradually I can brush away the cobwebs. So that's what I did. So what happened with the Kōauau and waiata, the good thing is that I remembered that I love waiata and I love Kōauau. So I thought, well, why not try and learn how to read? Because I had to learn how to read again. I was a teacher for a long time, and then I didn't even know how to read, how to write, all of that. So how do you do that? So luckily I remembered how I used to teach children how to read, and I thought, well, okay, let's start with waiata. I'm not going to learn every waiata. Let's just start with the waiata I know. And so I'd start from the top of the page. My daughters said, okay, when you read from the top. You're not Chinese. You don't start from the bottom and go up. So I said, okay, right. So I started left to right from the top, and I just worked my way down. And gradually that's how I learned how to read again. And so I started to read Māori words. Then, because I've got 3 marae here, then I began to get involved in activities on the marae. Then I heard those same songs sung. So then I began to learn the tune that goes with the songs. Then, while I'm all by myself, then I would grab out my kōauau and I would start to play the tunes that go with the songs. And so while I'm practicing, because I couldn't go back to work, I had to do something, so I figured out, well, that would be the best way for me to try and remember something. So I went over to the marae every day. If it was fine, then I'd be out there learning how to read, try to remember how to play the tune, sing the songs, then use the kōauau, play the tune. While I'm playing the tune, I'm reading the words again. So that constant repetition allowed me to relearn all of those songs again. And that eventually led to me where I am now. So at the moment, so for the last 10, 20 years, I've been leading waiata classes. And the most important thing for me is that since 2005, it was when I lost memory that I began to use waiata, not only for everybody else, but for me too. And the good thing was trying to include kōauau and the other instruments involved, and it gave me meaning to a lot of things I'm doing. What that all gave me at the end of it all was identity. I guess in 2016, I changed my name. I was born Lee Richards, Lee Rukingi Richards. I asked my mother and father, where did I get the name Lee from? When they told me I was named after an American actor, that was not a good enough reason for me to hold that name or relearn that name, because I had to relearn it again. And I figured I better have a name that I want to read and want to learn. So I thought, okay, now I'm going to change my name and put the one that's hidden in the middle, I'm going to put it in the front of my name now. So it's now Rukingi, Lee can stay there because my sister, my brother, my mother, they call me Lee. So I better have that other name with me just in case. They can use that name, but I'll always use Rukingi. So Rukingi Lee. Then I looked at the surname, and Mum and Dad, where did I get that name from? Oh, that's your father's biological father's name. Is that right? Dad, have you ever met that person? No. Right. Not much point to me knowing that name. So I think I need another name that I can try and hold on to. So my dad's mother, her last name is Haupapa. I thought, sounds like a good name to me. So Rukingi Lee Haupapa. So with all these pieces, it's like a jigsaw piece. So gradually for me, the whole point with my memory loss was I want to know who I am. I want to know who I belong to. I want to be able to do activities that involves everybody else, like singing, like everything else. And so that's what all of these pieces added up to. Because I was at these marae, these three marae, a lot of times during the week, during the year, it led on to other things. And when I saw the carved figures, and I thought, gee, I love those tattoos on those ancestor faces. So that was kind of, when I changed my name to Rukingi Lee Haupapa, I thought, wow, I love that name. And then when I looked at Marae, I thought, I love our culture too. All right, I think I need to have my face stamped with who we are. And it took a while to get it. My father never agreed to it, but my mother did straight away. She always thought she always thought she could see tattoos on my faces when I didn't have tattoos on my faces. So it's quite neat how life played out after the stroke. So from a terrible illness that hit me that none of us had heard about, led to what we're involved in today. So for me, it's about celebrating who we are, and the name, the face, the sounds we're doing, the songs we're singing, where we are doing it, it all fits in place. It all falls together. So how good is that? So that's it for me.
I don't even have any questions on call. It just flowed so good.